Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks so much for doing this tonight.
Oh my God, of course. Of course. Where are you recording this from?
Oh, we're in San Diego.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Where
Very
where
nice.
are you?
I'm in LA. I'm in LA.
LA.
Not too far.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in LA?
I didn't know. I actually grew up in New York City. Have
Really?
you? Yeah. Yeah. Have you been to New York?
I have not. I
Oh, you gotta
I
go.
know. I know.
You
I've
gotta
never been.
go.
I need to go. I'm a huge Beatles fan. I want to see all the this, Beatles monuments and all that cool stuff too.
Totally. Amazing. Yeah, you gotta go check it out. I was actually just there, but it's totally a trip. It's like such a cool place.
Yeah. So you grew up there. What part of New York? New York City? Is that what you said?
Yeah, New York City. Yeah.
Wow. How long were you there for? Through high school and everything?
Through high school, yeah, I left for college and then I came out here for college, and that's kind of why I'm out here now. But it's also because of the music. That's the main reason.
Right
Um,
on.
but yeah.
So tell me about growing up in New York City. That must have been pretty wild.
It really was. I mean, whenever I tell people about it, they're like, everyone really wants to know. And at the time, I didn't really understand when I was living there why everyone was so interested in what life is like growing up there. But now, kind of, I think being away from it for a few years, it makes more sense. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, but I mean, it was amazing. Like, it's so magical to be able to go back there even now after having not lived there for like 5 years, but just kind of bringing back just like the flooding of memories, and it will always be home for me. And um it was so, I mean, it's so cool. Like, I think it kind of carves out a little part of your personality in a way, because there's just no place like it. And
Mhm.
um I think being surrounded by that just like energy of, it's fast paced in a way that a lot of places aren't, because it is kind of like so much happens there.
Mhm.
And I think that just kind of shaped me and a little bit of who I am. And I just think personally, I think it's probably the best city in the world. I love New York.
When you're younger, were you able to like I could just see like kids being able to just hop on the subway and like cruise to different parts of this New
Yeah.
York like
Yeah. I mean, it
like
was sick, man. It was so sick. I wasn't really allowed to go on the subway by myself until I was like 16, 17, and I hadn't really been out of like the bubble of Manhattan.
okay.
And when I hit like 16 or 17, I was like, wait a second, like I've got this Metro card. Let me just hop on the subway. It was almost like a very freeing thing to be able to just do it by myself when I was like 16 or 17. And
Mhm.
I would get on the subway after school, and I would just like go to, like Chinatown, and get like I would go walk around Canal Street and check out that, and like check out that they have amazing like dumpling restaurants there. And it was just awesome. Like, you could basically be transported into like this whole new world that
Mhm.
was in this kind of city. And it's so cool to have that. And I feel like LA could really benefit from a subway system that New York
Yeah,
has.
theirs is pretty poor.
Yeah, yeah.
San
um,
Francisco's is like, kind of
yeah.
shaky, but I lived there for a while. But
Oh,
it's
you did? How was
I'm,
that?
it was cool. I mean, it's nothing like New York, I'm sure. It's probably just a smaller version of New York City.
I mean, I've only ever been there once. It was so long ago, but it's a cool place. It's really happening right now too, with all of like the um
The
like
tech and
Apple,
stuff.
yeah, the
Yeah.
tech things that are happening there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool for sure. I would rather go check out New York City.
Go do it, man. You should. It's
I
so
know.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
we need
awesome.
to. So, well, tell me about how you got into music.
Oh, I love talking about this. So music was like the first thing that I ever got into. So music was the first thing that I asked for lessons for from my parents.
Hmm.
And I was like 10 years old. And yeah, I remember loving it at a really young age. I kind of had like this, at the time it felt, I just didn't even question it, but like I would be writing songs when I was like 8 or 7. I remember like the first song I wrote was for my dad. I had like this music and lyrics book. I still remember it. But yeah, I mean, how did I get into it? I feel like it kind of fell into my lap a little bit. Like it just kind of felt like it naturally kind of happened, where it was like I just kind of followed where my joy was and like what made me happy, and that was kind of the thing that my heart, even as a kid, was just like, this is feels right. um so yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing it now. Oh, this is my cat Vala. Hello.
Hi,
Who's just
cat.
joined
You might
the podcast.
you might see a dog or some children running past here, so don't worry about that.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a 12-year-old who's in that room playing video games,
oh,
and then a 4-year-old who's in there with my wife, who usually does these
love
podcasts with me, but because of the quarantine situation, we kind of have to like,
understandable.
yeah.
Yeah, we gotta balance out a little more.
Exactly. Somebody has to man the children, so.
Yeah.
Well, you said that you asked for lessons when you're a very early age. What was that for? Vocal lessons, guitar lessons? What lessons were you looking for?
It was vocal lessons, but I actually hadn't even thought about it until you just said that. I actually did ask for guitar lessons when I was that age too, around the same time. But the vocal lessons came first. Yeah.
Okay. And then what age were you playing guitar?
I took a few lessons at like 11, I want to say, maybe 10,
Hmm.
around that point in my life. It was kind of a little bit after I started singing, and it was in, I remember it was in Florida. And I only took like a few lessons because then my mom and my brother took lessons too. And then my mom got really, I think, annoyed with needing to drive to the guitar lessons. So we stopped going to those.
That's funny.
Yeah. But now I wish we had kept going, because like it's a lot harder now to pick up the guitar than it even, I mean, it was still hard then, but I feel like it would just be easier when you're younger to pick up something. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's kind of current situation.
Nice. And then
Yeah.
from there, you said you wrote a song early on, and what were you going out and performing these songs and stuff as a young girl, or were you in a band? Like, how,
Yeah.
tell me about
Um,
that.
so it was kind of, I would perform them for anyone who would listen, essentially. I had
Mhm.
a lot of nannies growing up, and I would kind of always make them listen to my performances that I would put on. So I'd like set up my room like a concert, and I'd pretend that like the sides next to my bed, if you can imagine it, were like the sides of a concert stage, and I would
Oh,
like have a
sure.
microphone, and I would like go around to either side of the concert stage. Um, but yeah, I would perform all the time in the shower, like whenever I had a moment alone at home, like it was in the shower, it was when I had babysitters, I'd have them listen and like sit on my bed as I performed, and literally anybody that would listen. Oh, I remember one time at my grandmother's, she hosted this beautiful like black tie event, and there were all these people dressed up like really nice and really fancy and stuff, and I was there, and I think I was like 11 or 12 at the time, and I straight up was like, I have a performance for you. This was like a 60 party, like 60 people, okay? And I was like, I've got a performance. And apparently, I don't really remember this memory so well, but this is what a lot of people have told me. Apparently, I got up on the table, one of the tables at the party, and I put on a dance to one of the songs that I knew, because I felt like maybe I don't remember it at all, but apparently that's what happened. Um, so, besides the fact that I wish there was a video for that. That I did like school plays all through middle school, like every musical, and yeah, that was kind of the younger, and lessons and singing lessons throughout that time too.
Okay. And what about in high school? Did you start taking music more seriously in high school?
I kind of didn't as much. I still sang like in my own time, but I
Mhm.
wasn't really like taking as many lessons. I kind of pivoted into acting a little bit when I hit like 15. And through high school, I kind of was doing that a bit more.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah. And I guess I kind of needed like to go that route to kind of figure out myself and what I wanted. And acting is great, and like I love it. And for like I'm pretty I'm good at it, given the fact that like I feel like to be a good actor, you just kind of, it's important to understand like humans and just like how humans feel and operate. And I feel like even though I'm young, I've gone through a lot, and like that's kind of, even though some of those cards like I wish maybe weren't dealt to me, you can't really pick the cards you're dealt. You kind of need to play the cards you're dealt. And so I felt like acting was like a good way to play the cards I was dealt in a appropriate fashion. And like I still love it, but it's not like the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And and like these past 4 years where I've kind of been figuring myself out and just like doing soul searching away from New York and family, and just really figuring myself out, which has been really transformative and beautiful, and healing. But it's also been very um, kind of been very clear for me, and like a really big wake up call to like what my true calling is and what I'm supposed to be doing. And like looking back at my childhood, I was like, Emma, you knew this entire time. Like you just fell away from it. Like even as a kid, before you knew anything about anything, like that's the thing. And now I'm kind of like, okay, I get it now. Yeah.
Wow. So did you move out to LA to pursue acting?
I moved out to LA for college, but I wouldn't have come out here for college if I didn't know that it was kind of the only other New York, in a sense that there was like really great entertainment opportunities here
Mm-hmm.
for singing and
Sure.
for acting, stuff like that. So yeah, it was
Okay.
kind of all one cohesive piece.
Did you study acting or music in college, or did you go for something completely different?
I went for something totally different. I mean, I actually went for business in college. I wanted a business degree because I was just worried. Like, I knew singing was the area that I wanted to go into, and I just really didn't want to fall victim to that industry. And I felt like having a good business understanding would also be good as an artist, because you also need to understand, like, I understood that as an artist, you're also a business.
Yeah, you're
And
your own business.
you're your own business. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, this will also be helpful in that regard. And also I just didn't really want to be taken advantage of in a really large industry that's very powerful. And I kind of wanted to like have my feet on the ground a little bit better in that industry going forward.
Mhm.
Um, and that kind of gave me a sense of like security.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, so that's what I studied in college. And then I took like voice lessons and mostly voice lessons and some acting lessons in school. Those were really, really, really fun. Those were like my choice subjects.
Sure. Yeah. That's cool. And
Yeah.
here in LA, or when you were in LA, did you start like how did you start writing songs and like putting songs out? Like I know you've got a lot of stuff up on Spotify and stuff.
Yeah. So how did I get it? How did I start writing songs? Um, I it was kind of a long road, like
Mm-hmm.
in terms of producers, because and like finding the right producer, and also a long road in finding my own sound as an artist and like what I wanted to sound like. It wasn't just on the producing end, it was also on my end, and that took time. But it also took time to find like the right producers to help me with that, as you can probably imagine. But it just has been like, like life is just like you stairway up, and so it just has kept getting um, going up, and I feel grateful for that. And yeah, that's kind of. But I mean, for producers, like lately, I've found a few online, and then my manager has been helping me find some as well that I've been working with now, and they're amazing. And it's also great because like I'm working with really awesome producers, which it also took time to find those in this industry because it's a really big industry, and that's kind of the upward thing I'm talking about. but yeah, now these people are really awesome, and I know my sound, and I'm able to just say like this, and they're able to do it, and like also provide ideas to do it as well. Yeah, I feel like I'm talking a lot. This is
No, I love it. It's about you and your journey in the music industry. No one cares about what I have to say.
oh god, it's not
Um,
comfortable.
well, it's just like, so when you get to LA, are you meeting people, and like, how did you, decide? You said you're doing some acting, but were you like,
Yeah.
how do I, how do I play shows, and how do I get, like, how are you?
Yeah.
I guess, like, how are you networking? It's kind of my
How am I
question.
networking? Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, when you
Okay.
first got here, you're like, I want to do this singing thing, but like, what do I do? You know what I mean?
Totally. Well, actually, the first like producer that I ever worked with, kind of, there's a crazy story for this. Um, okay, if you really want to hear me talk a lot, this is a crazy story. I was with my friends at brunch I was a freshman in college, so I was 19, and with my friends at brunch, my phone had like, after brunch, I was like, I gotta go back to campus. I gotta go study for my midterms and or something. And they were like, okay, yeah, for sure, you can head back. You should head back. And my phone was about to die, so I went to the Apple Store to charge it because it was on the Third Street Promenade. The Apple Store was right next to this restaurant we were eating at. So I was like, perfect. I'll just charge my phone to the Apple Store, and then I'll call the Uber, and then I'll peace out. And so I called the Uber with like 4% battery, and I walk up to the corner, and my friends are with me, and I'm like, I have this overwhelming feeling that I need to cancel this Uber. And my friends are like, Emma, don't cancel the Uber. Like, you're gonna not have enough battery to call the next Uber. Like, it's not gonna work. I was like, you don't understand. I have to do this. And so I canceled it, and I called a new one, and this new Uber came in, and they were like, okay, and I was like, okay, and I got into this Uber, and again, like, this feeling came up where it was like, Emma, you need to start singing. And I was like, what the hell? And so I kind of started singing because the radio was playing, and he was like, oh, do you sing? The driver was like, you sing? And I was like, yeah, I sing. And he was like, oh, cool. And I was like, and yeah, and then again it was like, you got to keep singing like louder. And I was like, okay, shit. And so I kept singing louder, and he was like, you have a really good voice. And I was like, oh, thank you. And he was like, I'm a producer, I'm a really big deal in Sweden. And I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, right. I'm a
Yeah.
really big deal in Japan. Okay. Like, what,
And,
you know?
yeah. Andrew's driving Uber. Let's get it real.
I'm driving Uber. I'm like, I don't know about this. I'm at first skeptical, right? And he's like, no, seriously, look up my stuff. Like, here's my name, my Swedish name. This is my music. Like, check it out. He was like, I'm just doing this for fun. And I was like, I just like to meet cool people. And I was like, okay. And so I check out his music, and I'm like, oh no shit, like this stuff actually does have like a shit ton of views. And he was like, yeah, I think you'd be like really great with these producers that I know. And anyway, long story short, I ended up, the first song that I ever made was with the producers that I met through him.
Wow.
So yeah, so pretty crazy. And then I got a manager just kind of with making more music. And I met other producers through like my friends asked me to be at their gig, and I went to their gig, like their Christmas holiday thing, and they were there, and they were like, hey, like, we'd love to work with you. Like, we really loved your set. So then that sort of stuff too, kind of, that's how it kind of moved along and progressed.
Very cool. What was the first song that you put out? That the guy from the
It,
Uber helped you write, or his people?
it's called Invisible.
Oh,
The
okay.
first song I put out. Yeah.
That was the first one. I'm just looking at Spotify where you had a couple other songs, Gonna Be and Close to You. Were those
Oh yeah,
after,
those came after, but I released them like
prior?
I released them prior. Yeah, but they came after.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you wrote that song, and then you started meeting other producers, and
Yeah.
just kind of getting your name out there. Have you played a lot of shows in LA?
Yeah. I play I do like gigs around here. With the quarantine and stuff, it's been a little bit less so
Sure.
now. But I've been doing a lot of like, of course, but I've been doing like a lot of live streams during the quarantine, which has been really awesome.
Oh yeah, I did see on your Instagram that you had one kind of recently ago, like you were doing a Q&A and stuff.
Yeah, I did one, and then there was another one after that. Yeah.
How did those go? Was it fun?
Really fun. Yeah, I love it. I always love it. I love connecting with people too that are just like come on, and that's also really nice for me. So yeah, it's great. And I love singing, so it's great.
That's awesome. Have you been able to write it all or do anything in the quarantine, or are you just kind of hanging
Oh
out?
hell yeah. I write like on average, I think I write eh, like two songs a day.
Really?
Um,
Wow.
yeah. But that's like sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but I'd say that's like the average. But yeah, I mean, I kind of have to. It's like it's therapy for me, and it even was like back when I was a kid. So like it's really important for me to do that. Like, kind of just feels like I have to.
Mhm.
Um, so and it just feels like therapy. So yeah, it's I've been writing a lot, and I'm working on a new song right now too, and we're about to record final vocals for that tomorrow, which I'm so excited
Wow. When will that one come out? Well, you just kind of put out
about.
a single, so
I did,
I
yeah.
want to talk to you
Um,
about that too.
for sure. Yeah. So this new one probably, oh, I'm so excited about it. Probably is gonna come out in like a month, I'd say.
Okay.
I'm trying to do like a quicker turnaround with this one because I just want to like, I really just want to put it out really badly.
Well, tell me about the Overtime, the newest song that you put out.
Oh, I love Overtime. Overtime is all like the meaning behind the song.
Yeah.
Okay. So Overtime is basically about how I'm a pretty big overthinker sometimes, and it's basically about that kind of head spinning anxiety feeling of falling for someone and kind of being in this being in this relationship with them. And yeah, I kind of wanted to like capture that anxiety of like being with someone that it feels like so good with them, but you're also like scared because you don't know whether it's like you should follow your heart or follow your head. And there's just kind of
Mhm.
like this dichotomy between that. Um, and yeah, so overtime is just basically about how love can make you do overtime and make you overthink and make you overwork and like run your wheels over and over. Um, and just kind of I wanted to capture like the head spinning nature of that feeling and of that emotion because I'm very familiar with it. And yeah, that's kind of what it's about. But I have like an idea for the music video to put like a visual element to it. I'm still not even sure if we're gonna do a music video. I really hope we do.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, just kind of like falling for the town bad boy, but essentially he's really just like the guy that's right for your heart, you know,
Mhm.
that type of thing.
Cool. Have you done music? I saw that you did a video for Overtime, but it was just like a lyric video.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
We did like a lyric video. Lyric video is sick too. I kind of wanted to make it like these handwritten letters that get stained by blood, and these guys like killed it. I told them that, and like I got back the results, and I was like, "You are amazing!"
Yeah, it's cool. I watched it. I love the song. It's
Oh,
really a
thank
great song.
you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I really love it.
Yeah, I love like it's just is it just you singing and then they change your tones a little bit? Like it kind of sounds like you have
Yeah,
like it like
yeah,
warps out your voice a bit.
yeah, totally. In the chorus, it does that, which I thought was so cool.
Yeah, that was really I figured it was you and it was just like a
Yeah,
effect or
that like
something.
yes, yep. That's exactly what happened.
Rad. Rad.
Yeah. And the beginning is like the you know how it starts off and it's like and there's like the whistles in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Um it kind of doesn't sound like a whistle even though it is a whistle. And
Is
it's
that
like
like
this
a human whistle? Like a or is it like
yeah,
a
it's a human whistle that's like brought down a few octaves and
whoa.
yeah, yeah. And somebody told me that it sounded like an owl, and now I can't like now I have
Not
to tell
here
people
now.
that. Right? I feel like I have to tell people that now because whenever I start like only thinking about it, I just think of owls now.
That's so funny. So do you have like have you put out like a full project yet, like a EP, or is it
I
has just been
really want
singles?
to. It's just been singles, but that is that's I'm gonna do that. Yeah, that's definitely on my agenda.
Okay. Very
Hmm.
cool. And do you have a record label?
I don't, but soon.
Soon? Are you in the negotiation stage?
Hopefully soon, yeah.
Okay. I'll have to ask you that next time I talk to you.
Yeah, please do.
That's cool. Really cool. Exciting. So I have a question for you. I don't know. And I was looking at your Instagram, and there's a photograph, and you comment grandma, and there's a picture of Mick Jagger sitting down with the woman behind him. Tell me that. Tell me about these. And is that Andy Warhol in there too? One
Yes.
of the pictures. Can you tell me about
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. So, so my grandma was one of Andy Warhol's. I don't know if you're familiar. I obviously familiar with Andy Warhol, but are you familiar with Andy Warhol's like superstars that he did the screen test with and all that stuff?
No, I don't know that
So Andy
story.
Warhol had like basically the crew that he rolled with. Like they in like the models that he used to just surround himself with like these models and
Sure.
um yeah and and he would have like these superstars and these models and like other people he would like photograph and he would do screen tests with them and all this stuff and they were like in his circle and my grandma Jane was one of his superstars and so she was a really good friend of Andy's and she's got so many incredible stories. Somebody needs to do a movie on her life honestly, but um she was saying like how Andy couldn't afford to pay her sometimes for the modeling that she would do for him.
Mhm.
And so he'd say like I can't give you money, like I can't give you $200, but I can give you a painting. Would that be cool?
Oh my
At the
God.
time his paintings weren't even worth and like can you imagine? My grandma was like, yeah, sure at the time. And then got like a
Oh,
fucking one like holy shit.
yes.
Right?
Oh
Crazy.
my God.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And like oh my god. And so yeah, so he was hanging out with like Mick and um Bianca Jagger and Bianca is still actually a friend of my grandma's and it's crazy because when I was like a kid, I basically like she lived in the guest room in the house I was living in for like a long time, and I was like, oh, it's just like my friend Bianca. Like I was like, oh hey, and she was like, hey Emma, and we would always just like have these really nice conversations, and all these people that I knew were like, do you know who you're talking to? And I was like, I don't really care. Like she's just really nice. And now I'm like, wow, I had no idea.
Oh, it was Mick Jagger's wife?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you get a chance to meet him ever?
I didn't know. I don't
Uh,
think so. Yeah, no.
yeah, I saw that. I'm like, this is too good. I
I
have
feel
to
like
ask
there's
her
a
about it.
story here. Yeah. You were
There's got to be something here.
right.
How
Yep.
cool. Does your grandma have did she keep the Warhol paintings?
Oh yeah. Her house is like a Warhol.
Museum.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that is so rad. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
She has
That's
amazing taste in art. Amazing.
I can only imagine. Jeez. Surrounding yourself with those people. That's so awesome. Wow.
Yeah. And she's still doing it to this day, buying and selling art. She's
Is she,
got like yeah. Oh yeah. She's got like real she's got a she knows.
she's got it going on.
She's got it. Yeah. She's
That's
got great
cool.
taste. That's the word I was looking for.
Right on. Well, Emma, thank you so much for spending time to chat with me this evening.
Oh my God, thank you. No, this is great. This went by so quick.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I have another question for you, just one more. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Advice for aspiring artists. Um, Keep your chin up, don't give up, and if it's meant to be, it will happen. So just like keep the fight.
Bringing it backward.